Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios in Bedford, Virginia, you're listening to Life, Liberty, Happiness with your host, Brian Schley.
Yeah. Back for another episode of Life, Liberty, Happiness. Live in the David Honaker State Farm Studios, newly upgraded. The little John party in the background. Newly upgraded studios, right, Woody?
That's right. Additions every week.
Pretty short.
Crystal clear microphones.
How do I sound?
Brand new state of the art.
Brad, can you hear me?
Ready, ball.
Some new presets in the software. I mean, just every week we're making additions here.
Thank you to our sponsors, or else we would not be able to afford those upgrades. Thank you, State Farm and CS Business Services and Grizzly Garage Doors for your longtime support. Yeah, got a good show coming up. Obviously, we've got a lot to talk about in what's happening with the leak stuff.
Big news.
All of that stuff. And we'll have Marcus Hill coming in the studio a little later on.
Can't wait for that.
So we're excited about that as well. But right now, we'll get to this day in history. Do you remember this, Mr. Warner? The Iran-Contra affairs.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. 1980. Crap, I didn't put it on my sheet. 87, I think.
Yeah, I would say so. I was a junior in high school.
The Iran-Contra hearings began this day in 1987, I believe it was. A little public service announcement, Woody.
Yes, sir.
Mother's Day is Sunday.
Ooh, thank you for that.
Yep. So to all you mothers out there, make sure you get the laundry done on Saturday.
Perfect.
You don't have to work on Sunday. No! God, yeah! No! Yeah, I'll get in trouble for that one.
Just leaving on the couch for that one.
So anyway, on the drama. All right, I'll put this one on here because of you, Woody.
Uh-oh.
I'm not following this.
I'm not either.
I'm not following this that in depth.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
That's pretty good, though.
But in all honesty,
that was crappy.
Can you give a small summary? Like, what? I'm assuming they were married at one time. Is it?
Yes,
Referring to the Johnny Depp and
Johnny Depp,
Amanda Beard, Amanda Heard,
Heard.
Turd
Heard. Yeah, they were married for a little while, and then after they got divorced or were getting divorced, she released an article, an op-ed. That basically made accusations that she had been abused. Well, she didn't name Johnny's name, but she was just married to him and got out the relationship. So everybody, and that's when Disney ditched him for Jack Sparrow. That's when Warner Brothers ditched him for the Harry Potter. And so he lost like franchise movies. And so and then she even demanded like her demands.
Sports. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it was interesting that's coming up is that she demanded so much from the divorce settlement, saying that she would give it to charity. She made all these announcements, and then the charities come to find out never received any money, and that there's all these accusations on the other side. So I'm telling you, this is like the most fascinating trial. Like it has been. It's like a movie. I swear, it's almost like it's scripted. But
well. Here's what I'll say. After watching many episodes of Suits, which is phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah.
I got 9 seasons and I'm only on season 3, so I've got plenty of material. If you're a celebrity and you're going to have to go through a divorce, settlement is the best way out of this.
Yep.
Everything's behind closed doors. Your laundry's not out there in the public. And
I think he was so mad he's going after her, right?
He sued her for like $50 million because these were like $1 billion franchises.
Well, it's not going to end well for him either.
All right, so you say
I don't know.
that.
The PR seems to be
he is coming out looking like a golden child.
Oh, really?
Yes.
She's already fired her PR staff.
I mean, she is looking like just the worst person in the world. And Johnny, if it continues to go the way it's going, I'll say this: he will be better than what he was before. If it ends the way that it's doing right now.
She was supposed to testify today, but I think I don't follow it enough. I just hear the headlines here and there. And
I just figured it was drama. And so therefore maybe we should talk about it. But speaking of drama, last week, Spotify.
I'm doing fine, by the way.
Wow.
You never said hey. Hey,
He
how are
didn't
you?
even introduce you this
It's
episode.
not the Life, Liberty, Happiness, Trent Warner show.
Well, no, but
I'm just.
I can take a hint.
Hi, Trent.
Hey, I'm doing fine. Thank you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I am.
Hey.
Spotify has dropped the Obamas.
Why?
It just
No one listening.
that's a pretty good reason.
You know, it's interesting you say that. So, by the way, the PR people that she fired, Amanda Heard, they're Obama people.
No,
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I thought that was the back-to-back that you had there. But you know, it's funny you say that. Not enough people are listening to them, so somebody finally drops them. After a while, I've been waiting. If you're not getting enough commercials, someone has to drop you at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed last night on YouTube, because I do the thing where I watch Fox News, and the big news that I'm sure we're going to talk about came on. So I wanted to see what MSNBC had to say. Great. I'm so glad I turned over there because it was exactly what you thought it would be. However, I noticed on YouTube TV, not one commercial. Like between sets, it was, you know, when YouTube TV just first started, they would have that thing, we'll be back to you shortly.
Yes.
And Fox News has something it's the same commercials you would get on DirecTV.
Right.
You turn to MSNBC, there's no commercial in between. They don't have a sponsor. That's got to catch you at some point.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had texted you today, and I thought we would get through an episode without talking about Elon Musk, but here we go.
He's in the news.
He says that he wants to start revealing who is basically shoveling this misinformation, or, for instance, I think there is
pressure on people to.
Right now,
conform.
there is companies being sent letters to boycott Twitter, Apple, Best Buy. So he says, okay, if you're going to do that, we're just going to shine the light on who's paying for all this.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you want to do that, we'll just tell people who's starting to do all this stuff, who's causing this problem.
Yeah, I always wonder that.
And I think it's great, and we'll find out. Everybody seems to think, not everybody, but half the country seems to think he's crazy, and I'm not sure where the anger's coming from. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, what's he done differently than?
Well, I mean, it's easy to grasp that. He's on our side on one issue. It's like, you can't. Yeah, you can't. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call him Tucker Carlson.
Right.
You know, I mean, he just wants free speech, and to that side, and that's what Rush Limbaugh used to say all the time. They really can't win on their speech.
Correct.
They have to coerce you and not hear the other side.
Well, correct. I mean, listen, there's a reason it's the First Amendment and not the 14th or the 3rd.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, without it, by the way, it's also for democracy to work. It has to be that way, because we have to be able to sit in a room and negotiate bills. Yeah, like I heard, the whole. Well, we'll talk. We'll get to that.
Anyway. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, on to sports.
Did you not care what drama I watched?
No, you're not on my list.
It's Max cut off.
Did you watch something this week?
Woody. Max cut off. No, it's okay. Go on. That's
you need to get a button for Max cut off.
I thought it was a segue to sports. So my drama was, I watched the movie this weekend with Borg and McEnroe.
Oh.
That Shia LaBeouf. What is that? What's the guy's name?
That's pretty close.
Yeah, he. I mean, so that's when I first started as a kid, starting to like sports and tennis. I used to love tennis. It was a great sport to watch
back in the day. Yes, you're right.
When Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg and Boris Becker and
even leaving a little later on with Agassi and
Sampras. That was good. Michael Chang. Yeah, I mean, that was some good tennis to watch then. But I did not know the story of Bjorn Borg and John McEnroe.
I don't think I do, so don't ruin it.
I'm not, but the battle, holy cow, in the movie, it just makes it's like you're watching a boxing match. It's so well done. But on to sports.
NASCAR. Speaking of boring, was that man, I tried. Dover usually is an exciting track.
That's one of my top 10 tracks.
but
most of the time,
no passing. I mean, they've got to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, that was a Monday race though because of the rain.
I mean, when your announcer Clint Boyer, who's been great by the way,
he's fantastic.
When he says with 60 laps to go, if Chase can get by him here, nobody will pass. Or if Ross Chastain can get by Chase, nobody will pass. I mean, he's telling you, listen, the race is over. Whoever gets in front here.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. It didn't matter how good your car was. You just had to get in front.
I've seen some theories on that about the small track. So the car is so well done and it's made a level playing field for so many people that it's equal. So on the super speedways, it's great because anybody can pass anybody. But because you're even on a short track, you're all running the same speed. You're the same car. There's no real passing that can occur.
Now, I will say there's no doubt they hit a home run on that because just the car itself, because you would have never, a first year owner would have never been able to field a two-time winner already.
Yeah.
That just wouldn't have happened. I mean, front row, if you remember back when Martin Truex started winning with front row furniture row, I mean, it was 4 or 5 years of them pounding, and just getting by and then all of a sudden they were good. So you can tell because there are other cars too. I mean, RCR obviously is running a heck of a lot better than they ever have.
Yeah.
And they had a lot to do with the car. So, but it just was no passing, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
This week they're at Darlington, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're at Darlington this week. So hopefully we'll be back to good old Darlington and see how that works out. But
it's kind of a tweener between a super speedway and a short track. So, but I mean, I would have thought Dover would have been more passing.
Well, I'm more excited about what's coming up this weekend. We have F1 in America, cut 305. It's going to be amazing. I mean, it's going
to be fun.
Yeah. And I mean,
just the scenery.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm curious to see I've seen the track, but I want to, there's a hairpin turn that is literally a U-turn. So you know how it is when they get down, and then they're back into the gas. It's like, ooh, this is going to be.
I mean, if you mixed Formula One and said, what city would you go to in the U.S. to be like a Monaco? Miami is it.
Yeah.
That's got to be it.
Definitely. And I like where they put it. I think future plans is to put I want to call it a marina where boats can be there.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know how they're going to do that, but I mean, their plans are to expand. So they already said that this could be revenue-wise bigger than the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So a lot of people are complaining about the cost. And it's like, hello, it's F1.
Yeah.
Everything is
But
costly.
you're Miami. You're a destination town. You should be able to, you host Super Bowls.
Yeah. So it should be good. I'm extremely excited about it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Anyway, that's...
is Kentucky Derby this weekend? Am I wrong?
You caught me off guard.
Am I wrong on that?
I don't know, man.
I think Marty told me that. But that seems like it should be in May.
Really screwed me with knowing these big events.
Yeah,
it is, but it can't be this weekend because they have the Kentucky Derby party at the Avenue, and their signs aren't even up.
Okay. No, wait a minute now.
Hold on now.
It does. It says it's Saturday, May 7th, 2022.
Well, maybe they're not having a party this year.
Huh.
Or maybe they are, and I'm just oblivious to what's going on in Bedford.
I haven't seen signs for it, though.
Me neither.
You're right. Well, that's a big weekend, man.
Yeah.
Kentucky Derby, F1, Darlington.
Yeah.
It's good racing.
Huge. Can't wait.
See if we do a foot race.
All right. On to what's happening. Well, Mr. Warner, the leak The infamous leak has happened.
Talking about Biden's pants?
Nope. Basically, the Supreme Court, which I think I told you this. I remember watching the arguments in November, I believe it was. And Shannon Bream of Fox News had said, LU graduate, she had said that, I mean, it was a pretty good chance that this was going to, Roe versus Wade was going to be overturned, and Casey, which is important. So I'm not sure. I guess I'm confused on where the shock came from. I think the shock should be that it was leaked. That's
news number one. Yes.
That is absolutely. And I heard Jen Psaki today. The question was asked about that, in which she denied that. You know, she said it's the decision that is the.
Yeah, of course she would say that.
Correct. But again, this isn't, at least from what I followed, this was not shocking news. It was election. I found it funny that shortly after the leak, Biden had said, or Schumer had said, election have consequences. Like this was going to sway all the elections all of a sudden. But what I don't understand is when they say that, elections did have consequences.
That's exactly what happened.
And by the way, the guy that was running, saying he was preaching this, he said, I'm going to select justices that are pro-life, period.
Yeah.
And so I found this cut. Let's see. Cut 5-4.
You're pro-life, but I want to ask you specifically, do you want the court, including the justices that you will name, to overturn Roe v. Wade, which includes, in fact, states a woman's right to abortion?
Well, if that would happen, because I am pro-life and I will be appointing pro-life judges, I would think that will go back to the individual states.
But I'm asking you specifically, would you like
if they overturned it, it'll go back to the states.
But what I'm asking you, sir, is do you want to see the court overturn? You just said you want to see the court protect the Second Amendment. Do you want to see the court overturn Roe v. Wade?
Well, if we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, will happen. And that'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am putting pro-life justices on the court. I will say this, it will go back to the states, and the states will then make a determination.
Secretary Clinton?
Well, I strongly support Roe v. Wade.
That's so Chris Wallace.
Right. I mean, he answered it.
First off, he's badgering you. And by the way, was right.
Correct.
I mean, how many weeks did we say that?
Yeah.
The guy was right again.
And so I looked up what were the major contributing voting factors, right? And Supreme Court justice selections were in the top 5.
Yeah.
So for once in my life, and I don't know that it's ever happened before. Have we ever had a Republican president be a pro-life?
Well, they may have said that they were.
Yeah, but has anybody done? I mean, this dude ran on it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He didn't hide from the issue.
Right.
Because I think everybody, once they saw this leak, thought, oh, good. Now Democrats will win the election. And I guess what I'm saying is I don't see people running from it. I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I would do? Chuck Schumer actually made sense. He said, we're going to vote on it. That's the way it should have always been.
And that's what I thought was interesting when you listen to, and I loved listening to Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich is one of my favorite people to listen to. He's such an intelligent guy. But part of the reason it goes back to the states, there is no federal law. There's nothing to say. There's not.
Correct.
There's not for or against.
Correct.
It goes back to the states.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to create a law, how come they haven't created a law? The feds don't, right? Because they don't have enough people to vote. I mean, Schumer and them, why would they do it now?
Correct.
Because they know they don't have it.
Correct.
Right? They use the court system to create law.
Correct. Which is wrong.
It's wrong. Correct.
Inherently.
We all know that.
And I thought that was, if you go back and look at the arguments, see, that's the thing. The arguments were in November. And if you actually read the opinion when it comes out, and you actually followed the oral argument. See, you can't have it both ways. Here's what's funny. You have pushed for a year that when you're born, you're no longer a male or female, that there's no science behind that anymore. Yet you want to scream, it's my body, my choice, female. Right. Yeah. You know,
and by the way, it wasn't your body or your choice when you had a vaccine.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. You don't get to choose then either. The hypocrisy on all this is absurd.
Correct.
And they're showing themselves more and more. So Newt also said, yes, elections have consequences. Keep screaming that you want to kill babies. That's your stance, what you're going to run on. Let's see how that works out.
Agree with you 100%. I saw real quick because we got to move on because we need to get to Marcus because he's got a lot of good information for us. I want to say this. I did see something interesting in Texas. So Texas has on their books that if you go out of state to have an abortion, you can be prosecuted and the person who has transported you out of state can be prosecuted. So they had the guy on the show today in which they asked, have you ever prosecuted anybody? And he said, no, there was no reason to. However, now you have companies like Amazon and these companies that are now saying, hey, if Roe v. Wade does get overturned and your state doesn't allow you to have an abortion when you want it, we'll take you to another state. Texas says, bring it on. We'll prosecute you. And we will freeze your bank accounts. We will come after you. So, I mean, it was good. All I'm saying is they thought this thing way ahead of, you know what, we're going to be on the side of pro-life and this is what we're going to do. So I'm like you. The decision itself doesn't outlaw abortion. And people need to understand that. So, anyway, moving on. So with that, we also have this new disinformation board. Rush Limbaugh used to say the only thing standing in the way of Democrats is the electorate, basically. You know, if they didn't have to have elections, they'd be good to go. And so I thought this disinformation board is exactly what they have to do because they can't win on merits anymore. And so I found this, cut 96816.
How do you feel about the Ministry of Truth?
This is the kind of thing that you see in dictatorships, this Ministry of Truth, this Department of Propaganda that the Biden administration has just stood up. And the reason why you see this in dictatorships is because they're afraid of us. They're afraid of the people. They're afraid that we might actually think for ourselves. And so now they've created this body that will do two things. Number one, it'll use taxpayer dollars to work through the mainstream media and flood the airwaves with whatever their propaganda narrative is that they're pushing at any given time and try to drown out anyone with alternate views.
Yeah, anyway, Tulsi Gabbard, not exactly your conservative, but someone who says, look, this is what their ultimate goal is to, you know.
Is she going to run?
I don't know. They have labeled her as a Russian. She was labeled as a Russian.
She seems to be the only one on that side of the aisle that I can listen to and she says.
If I could find the podcast where I listened to her for about an hour and a half, where she told her story of when she was elected and how it all changed. She laid it all out. And I think that's why Democrats hate her, is she told the truth. She said, I was intimidated. I was told, you're going to do it this way or else. And I'm not going to do that. And she said, from that day forward, they started labeling me as a Russia, what do they call it? Russia,
like a Russian informant, Russian agent.
Yeah. And it's like, come on, people. I mean, Hillary Clinton is the one that went after her. And so she's probably thankful she's still alive with the Clintons involved. But anyway, when you do what they're doing, it leads to a limited debate. Case in point, this is an argument on MSNBC between Rachel Maddow and Alex Castellano or Castellino, whatever his name is. Cut 2+2.
Wants to talk about women and the economy. The women in this country still make 77 cents on the dollar for what men make. So if women don't make less than men?
Actually, if you start looking at the numbers, Rachel, there are lots of reasons for that.
Wait. No, wait. Don't tell me the reasons why. Do women make less than men for doing the same work?
No, because
wow. Okay.
Well, for example, men work an average of 44 hours a week. Women work 41 hours a week. Men go into professions like engineering, science, and math that earn more. Women want more flexible.
Listen, this is not a math is hard.
No. Yes, it is. Actually.
No, it isn't.
Well,
listen.
All right, let Rachel frame it though the way
right now. Women are making 77 cents on the dollar for what?
I mean, you hear the person say, "Let her frame it the way." That's what we've got to.
That's what they do all the time.
Now, the reason I'm a free speech guy, because I told you earlier, it's the First Amendment for a reason. The debates are healthy. By the way, we can learn about gender issues because there are gender issues in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't when you're hollering. Stop and let's have conversations.
He was making valid points that she couldn't let get out without her yelling at him.
That's correct. And that's
called the sound bite. And that's what the news has become.
Correct.
Is the sound bite. And if I can interrupt your really good sound bite, you can't use that.
Correct.
And that's what they do all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that leads us to 80 million my ass.
All right. Second favorite part of the show.
Cut 80 million.
Hard work has played a critical role in ensuring Putin's strategic failure in Ukraine, and they should know that we know it. In addition to this supplemental funding, I'm also sending to Congress a comprehensive package of that will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy.
Yeah.
Kleptocracy and the guys who are the kleptocracies. But these are bad guys.
These are bad guys.
This Thursday, the package strengthened our law enforcement case.
All right, that's gosh.
He's lost it.
Shut up. I mein, it's like, at what point in time do you just? But I love the 80 million my ass. It's a fun segment.
I don't care who you are. That's funny, right?
I got a clip of him later too.
All right. Local news. Graduation's right around the corner.
Coming up.
JF, Liberty, and Stanton River.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any kids graduating this year?
Not this time around.
No aunts, nieces, nephews.
I've got a college graduate coming up. University of Georgia. Sarah Detweiler.
Okay.
Go Dogs.
God.
Go down 2 weeks. What? Well, it's a great accomplishment.
No, it is. Anytime you can graduate anything, it's a good accomplishment.
Yeah.
So anyway, congratulations to all the graduates. I think back to the COVID year.
Oh, man.
God, what a miserable experience that was for all of those kids.
Yep.
Anyway, that is your news, sponsored by State Farm.
We all know having insurance is required, but having good insurance is not. There is a difference. We all get quotes, throw the policies in the trash, and hate when we see the invoice each month. But when we need them, that is when it matters most. Having a dependable agent like David Honaker makes all the difference. David Honaker is our local State Farm agent and proud sponsor of Life, Liberty, Happiness. When you need your insurance to work, make sure you have a company that works for you. That company is State Farm, and that agent is David. Call him today at 540-586-8194 or stop by their office next to Arby's off Route 460. Like a good neighbor, David is there.
All right, we're back live in the studio. We have our special guest this week, Marcus Hill from the Bedford County School Board. Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Who are you? Where are you born? We get right into it.
All of the good stuff. Yeah. Marcus Hill. I was born in Eastern North Carolina.
Okay.
Born and raised. And moved here in 2009 with my family, my wife and 4 kids. And we've been in Bedford County ever since.
College?
I went to college. I started at East Carolina University. Went to work full time because it wasn't for me. At the time, I was doing it for parents instead of myself. So I got a full-time job, got married, started having kids, went back and finished at a place called North Carolina Wesleyan College, which recently announced this week that they were becoming North Carolina Wesleyan University.
Good.
So seems to be the trend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
And what did you say you grew up in North Carolina? Where was it?
Rocky Mount.
Rocky Mount.
Yeah.
Yeah. Near a place in Wilson, North Carolina. Some good eating over there. I think you're aware of that.
Yeah, that was the Beef Masters?
Beefmaster.
Oh, man, what a place.
Hole in the wall. You wait in the parking lot outside.
Do a little tailgating out there.
That's right.
Yeah, we had a good time there.
So, you've got kids in the school system now?
I do. I still have two. All four of them attended Bedford County. We were Boonesboro kids. We lived over in Boonesboro area. And then as the kids got older and started participating in sports, anybody who lives in Boonesboro knows it's a heck of a drive over the forest. And come home from work one day and my wife said, it is time to move. So we relocated to Forest back in 2015 and we've been there ever since.
Okay. So I'm assuming you had a nightmare one night. You woke up the next day and said, I want to become a school board member.
Yeah. You sit back and you see some of the things that are going on. And, as a father to four kids, you ask yourself, how can I get involved? How can I make a difference? And that was the year that Gary Hostetler had decided that he was not going to run for school board. He was running for board of supervisors.
Correct.
And I just started asking some questions just to see were there others interested, what the plan was, and started asking the right questions and just got involved. And it went from there. It kind of snowballed and boom, election was here and we got it.
Okay. So 2 terms? Is this your second term?
This is my second term. First year of second term.
Okay.
That's right.
Good. What has been the biggest eye opener? I mean, like when I was on council, I thought I knew what I was getting into. And it took me about 2 council to figure out, whoa, what have I done?
Yeah. Biggest eye opener. And it's not a negative. It's just the reality of you're never going to make everybody happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you've got to do what you think is right for the entire population of students.
Okay.
Sometimes people try to focus on one area. When I try to make it, or when I make a decision, I try to take in how does it affect everyone. So all 9,000 plus students, not just those kids that are in Forest or those kids that are at Liberty or Stanton River. It's all. How does it affect them?
Yeah.
And so, again, the biggest thing is you're never going to make everybody happy.
Right.
You've got to go and make the decision based on what you know to be the right thing, and go with it. And you got to own it. And sometimes you make the right decision, sometimes you don't. And you learn from it and you move forward.
Oh, yeah. Look, I can definitely say I made some bad decisions. But yeah, you're exactly right. What was I guess once you got your feet wet, kind of got in there, what has been the biggest obstacle that you feel that the school system needs to either move on from or, maybe move into in the future?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things people struggled with for so long was making the change of how we're educating our learners. And that's a word that people don't like to use as learners. It's a real, topic. But, as a 48-year-old, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And we've got to transition that mindset of we never stop learning.
Sure.
And everybody learns at a different way. I have 4 kids. They all learn differently. They all learn in different environments. They all have different passions about what they love to learn about. Some are history buffs, some are math, some are science. And so, you've got to understand that we're all about learning. And so going back to, a lot of people had a concern or confusion about using technology.
Yeah.
And the mindset of personalized learning and that you're just sticking kids in front of a computer and walking away and there's no teacher. That's the furthest thing from the truth. It's used as a tool.
Yeah.
And I say that I've said it before. I'll say it again. The best place I've ever seen personalized learning taking place is at Stanton River Middle School. Those kids learn to manage how they were learning. You've got some kids who can learn chapters 1 through 5 on day 1. And there are other kids who it's going to take 2 weeks to learn chapter 1. But what happens when kids get bored is they start acting out or not paying attention. And so if they can learn on their schedule, same lesson. It may be a video of the teacher teaching that lesson, but they can go at their pace and learn, and they can't move forward to the next chapter or the next, piece that they're trying to get to the kids without them mastering a quiz or a test.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing is if kids have questions, they're more apt to raise their hand and get that one-on-one attention with their teacher versus sitting in a room of 20 and not wanting to raise that hand or not ask that question.
And not wanting to look like to the others they don't know how to do it when others do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Would you say that the misconception, or I'm trying to figure out the best way to word it, or maybe the lack of information with parents is that they may not have known how the process was working? For instance, and I'll give an example. I don't know that personalized learning works for everyone. And maybe it was just the wrong time and the teachers hadn't learned how to adjust to that.
Hadn't learned to adjust, or maybe didn't want to adjust, because there's some people who like change and who don't like change. What I will say is thank goodness that we were pushing that, because if not, the last 2 years with COVID, especially the half, and then the next year, we would have been in a mess,
right,
if we didn't have those devices to use as tools.
And I like the idea that it's an option. It's an alternative, or for someone to be able to try it or to get into it.
Absolutely. And you hear people say, well, not everybody has internet. You're absolutely right. They don't. And so you can download the information that's needed at school, take it home when you need it. It's there. And so, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. But
you're really a busy guy. I mean, I see you at Stanton River. You mentioned Stanton River. You don't know this, but when I coached Forest Middle School in basketball, and they were going to do renovations at Forest Middle School. It was just discussions then. Yep. And they've done them since then. But you walked in the gym and you personally came up to me and say, what does this gym need? And I was like, look at how packed this place gets. It's so loud, you can't even think. Great place, but we don't have enough place. We don't have enough space. Yep. And it's fixed. And I just thought, who is this guy that came up to me? I had no idea. I don't know anything about school board. And you did that. And I see you at Stanton River. But what do you do for a living? I mean, you're not on a school board for a living. What do you do?
School board definitely does not pay the bills. Yeah. So I work for a major corporation. I do network optimization. I won't mention the name, but I manage a group. We deal with fiber, hauling data, traffic, and when we need to optimize the network, we optimize the network to bring it onto our fiber, and we make sure our clients get what they need, and traffic is able to move. I don't want to go into a lot of detail.
Sure. What prepared you then? That background, what prepared you in school? I mean, to do this for school boards? Is it communication? Is it technology? Is it?
Yeah. So, I've always been deemed as the technology guy. I think it's important the way we're moving in the world. Our kids have to be prepared. I'll look around the studio right here. Every one of us have one of these. We're tied to it. We look at it. We feed off of it. Our kids, they play games. They're talking to their friends at night over a PlayStation or whatever device they have, phones, computers. It's the way of the world.
Yeah.
And it ties everybody together. And so technology is a passion. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important that we prepare kids to be able to use that technology as a tool. Mm-hmm. Not to be married to it, not to have to, live off of it. But technology is where it's at. There's no job today that doesn't require access or utilization of an electronic tool.
Sure.
Think about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, very few. And so we have to prepare our learners for the future and their success. Mm-hmm. And so you hear so many people talk about not wanting to use technology. We are not doing our kids a favor by not preparing them for it. What's the proper way to use it? And so, to answer your question, Trent, before I took my current role, I had operations for this same company where we do local internet service, dial tone, but really putting internet in homes and small business and some enterprise business. And so, technology has been a passion, and it prepared me, and I think it's the right place to be.
When so on the school board. Let me back up a little bit. I knew you from the time you came and talked to me. It's always been that. But Brian and I have been best friends forever. He was on town council, and he's the kind of guy, like I came down to his house. I come down to his house, his little she shed all the time. And so I'm coming in the she shed, and I thought we were going to watch UVA and Duke or something like that. And he's the kind of guy that has a school board on the TV. Like he's watching what you guys talk about.
That's great.
I don't know anybody else that does that. And I was like, man.
I have no life.
But let me tell you, it was so freaking awesome. I was like, dude, that's the guy that came up to me and talked to me. It was the COVID time. And I know we're going to probably walk down this a little bit. You were the one guy that didn't have a mask on in there to talk about it. I mean, I thought, man, this dude is, and the questions you asked were right up that needed to be asked. And what was frustrating for me on the back end is it never seemed to go the way the most parents wanted it to go.
That's right.
Our kids, and I'm going to say this out loud, I could be wrong, Campbell County, the city of Lynchburg, Amherst County, played sports of some sort.
That's right.
And our kids were told, they told they were going to play, and in the winter sports, because it was red or orange or something that came up, we still could not play. I was so frustrated in that. And when you got that many parents that come down to say something and it still doesn't change anything, can you talk a little bit about that time, what that was like?
It was very frustrating because parents were not allowed to make decisions for their children. And that's wrong. Mm-hmm. Every parent should be able to make decisions for their own children in what they participate in, what they don't participate in, et cetera. Bottom line, you had a 4-3 board who felt like 4 members. This is Marcus's opinion. Okay. 4 members who thought their responsibility was to make decisions for the community and not allow the community to make decisions for themselves. Mm-hmm. And it was a control thing. If you watched the meetings, you very clearly saw me ask the question before we voted. So I want to make sure I understand that we are voting to remove parental rights.
Yeah.
Well, of course, those 4 didn't want to answer that question, but I forced it. Mm-hmm. Is this what we're voting on? And you heard one of the members come back and say, well, if you want to put it that way, yes, it is. Mm-hmm. And they voted 4-3 to remove parental rights from Bedford County students. Mm-hmm. Or Bedford County community.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
And you know what? They paid for it because election day come up and the board changed.
And we've talked about elections have consequences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And where we used to just let things go by because it's no harm, no foul, that showed you right there what we've allowed to take place. And I'm glad we are making some corrections to that.
Yep.
Well, I've always said the local elections, believe it or not, are more important than state and federal. I mean,
they matter.
They absolutely, because they're going to connect to you quicker than any of them. Mm-hmm. And yet we seem to always ignore. I mean, listen, council, they have to beg people sometimes to run. I'm ashamed to say I lost, but I'm just saying there are some times that it's a difficult job and it's a thankless job, just like the school board. But, if I used to, it was dating back when they were talking about, they were closing schools, Thaxton, and I can't remember.
Body camps.
Yeah.
How can you forget, man?
Well, I mean, everybody was up in arms over it, but it did bother me for those people who have never crossed the threshold of the school. And honestly, I would say half the people that were in there arguing had never, I had a kid that was going to Thaxton. I could have gone either way with it, to be honest with you. Either they close it or they don't. I figured they were making the best choice. It did anger me when I'm sitting here looking side to side. And I've never seen you here. You've never been here. You don't know. None of them can tell you the teacher's name, principal's name, none of it. Yet you're so upset that they're closing the school. That's what bothered me.
Yeah.
If you're involved, that's
Yeah, and I don't want to make light of closing schools because it's never an easy decision, and I wasn't part of that decision. But what I will tell you, in Bedford County loves our community schools.
Yes.
We love our community schools, and there's nothing wrong with that. But public service announcement, community schools cost money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have to be able to fund those schools. And funding is based on student population.
Correct.
And there are some areas who have issues with student population because we're not growing in those areas.
Yes, Liberty Zone is one of them. And we've had these discussions at the town level, no doubt.
Right.
And that was a big contentious, when Bedford reverted back to a town, I think their wishes was a high school, obviously. It's an economic impact, but the middle school was chosen instead.
And man, what a middle school it is.
It is. It's beautiful.
If you haven't been, I encourage your listeners to go tour that facility.
Yeah.
It's one of a kind.
Yes, I don't disagree.
Right here in Bedford. Phenomenal. I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's a great learning environment. The facilities are just phenomenal.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. I will bring up the question that, gosh, it's been asked to me a million times. I mean, and I want to say Coach Watts has probably been in the school system the longest of anybody I know. And he laughs because he hears it. It's been going on for 30 years, redistricting. And have you had that issue on your agenda since you've been on the school board?
I have not had that issue. I will tell you the only areas that we're having some, issues as far as, capacity are in some of the elementary schools in Forest. But let's face it, the comprehensive plan that the Board of Supervisors has is to grow Forest.
Gotcha.
Keep the other areas rural. Not a lot of community members understand that, but if they want that to change, they need to let their Board of Supervisors know we're looking for growth.
Gotcha.
Because right now the growth is in Forest. And if the growth is in Forest, guess where the kids are coming? They're coming to Forest.
Yeah.
That's where people are moving into. I had, town council asked me one time, when are you going to fill up Liberty Middle School? Well, we're going to fill up Liberty Middle School when you get off your butt and start recruiting businesses and families to this area.
Amen.
We don't recruit students. We make facilities and schools available for your students that you are recruiting families and businesses to. We've got top-notch facilities in Bedford County. We're ready for students. Bring them on. That's my response.
Okay.
How do you, so let's call COVID a bottom point. I don't know, maybe not. If it had some cleaning a house that might have needed to be done. What's your goals? What's as we start getting out of this and getting back to normalcy? What are your goals? You mentioned something to me before about is it CRT program, the programs that we have outside of school, or a traditional, maybe not going to college, but trying to build a trade. Like CTE. That's the letters used. What about those type of things? Where do you see it? Where do you see Bedford County going?
Yeah, so I want to touch on that. COVID, we lost a lot of students, and it was because of the policies and processes and decisions that this board was making. And you know what? It's the parents' decision, and in some cases, you can't blame them for taking their kids and putting them somewhere else. So how do we get those students back? There's some we won't get back. They've made that decision to go elsewhere. They'll keep them. But now that we've changed our board numbers, we are going to make some of these policies to where they're common sense and they make sense. We're going to return parental rights back to our parents. We've got a resolution on the table for May that talks all about parental rights, bottom line. And so we want our community to know we want parents involved. We want them here. And so we welcome our parents. So you're going to see that. So that's how we start to pull some of those students back. I've already heard from parents of, hey, we're coming back next year. That's great. But as far as CTE, man, if you have never been to our Susie G. Gibson Science and Technology Center, go over there.
Where is that?
Troy Doss is our principal. It's right behind the school board office.
Okay.
I don't have the exact address, but if you go past the school board office and just keep straight, you'll see the bus garage, and it's back behind there. But I mean, you've got so many programs over there that our kids in Bedford County have the opportunity to come learn trade. You've got cosmetology, you've got nursing, you've got auto.
The auto is unbelievable.
Mark over there runs a phenomenal program.
Yeah.
Auto body shop. I mean, so you name it, it's over there. And our kids have opportunities to go learn that trade. And college is not for every kid.
Correct.
And we've got to get away from this whole mindset of everyone has to go to college.
Right.
No, they don't.
Right.
Some of my friends who are millionaires didn't go to college.
Exactly.
Correct.
They got a trade. They own their own businesses, and they're doing a whole lot better than those that went to school and they're in $100,000 in debt.
Oh, yeah.
And so we owe it to our kids to give them options and let them decide what they want to do.
Sure.
Not force them into one size fits all. But I will tell you, on top of CTE programs, we've got Gov School. We've got opportunities for dual enrollment, which is through our high schools. We have Central Virginia Community College, Early College. So we have opportunities for our kids. We've got to make sure everybody understands that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's about, is making sure they know what the options are for them.
One thing if Brian, and I know we're kind of getting to the back end of this thing, and maybe opening up a big can of worms. And if we got to come back and have you come back, I love what you say. I'm so glad we have someone on the board that thinks like you do. I mean, that's what we need, just ground common sense, and it's what's needed. One of the things that Brian and I have, and it's our background, we both coached, is the funding for sports. Can you talk a little bit about that? How sports are funded? And it just seems like there's no staff when we walk in there. It's like either the parent volunteering. I mean, Julie, look how much she volunteers, his wife. So can you talk a little bit about that? How budgets are created for sports?
Yeah, well, that's a $1 million question. And so you get so much funding per student, per, sport that is at each school. But you got to keep in mind, sports are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay refs. You got to pay for maintenance. You got to have, uniforms, and you're supposed to be buying those every 2 to 4 years. Some of our kids haven't had new uniforms in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
They cost money. And so it's very limited. You get a lot of your ticket sales go back into the programs. But it's funded through the school and the athletic directors, and they handle that budgeting for those programs. What you'll see, some programs get more money than others.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when the parents come in and you take matters into your own hands and you create these clubs and you start raising money. I mean, I've stood on the side of Kroger in Forest and washed cards with my kids, and, you write checks and sell tickets, and you raise money for those programs. But you're right. It is a lot of parent volunteers. Some schools have more volunteers than others. And that's where, that's the unfortunate part.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have to beg just to get the concession stand covered.
Yeah. I mean, actually, we had, I think we had Liberty parents work Stanton River concessions during the state semifinal game because they wanted parents to watch their kids play football, not work the concession stand.
That's right.
So you have to have, it's a community thing at that point.
That's right.
And
again, it's about getting parents involved too. And a lot of parents don't want to be involved in the academic piece, but they can come get involved in the sports and the support piece and be there for that. We welcome parents for any way they want to get involved. That's the encouragement. But, I don't have all the answers for sports and how they're funded. I will tell you, we try to provide as many sports programs as kids are interested. For example, lacrosse, they were self-funded for years, 15 or 20 years. And we were finally able to get that approved as a varsity sport over at JF. Some of the board members were like, okay, if we fund it at JF, we need to see if we can fund it at the other two schools. Absolutely support it. We didn't have the interest or participation because simply it's going to take away from the other programs. Again, we need more students in those areas.
Yeah.
And so if that's what we want to focus on, we've got to start recruiting businesses and families to those areas.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. Funding is, listen, you could tell me you're putting in $1 million. I'd tell you 2 million, still not enough. I'm just an advocate for sports. Mainly because
There's lessons beyond the classroom that a coach is saying to a kid.
Absolutely. Leadership skills.
Teamwork. There's so much there to it that's just beyond putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't. What these coaches, all of them. I mean, they are parents. To these kids.
And for me as the coach, one of the things that I found, and again, it's just my own little small world. Forest Middle School, we have 12 games. Our AD set it up that we had 4 home games. I made one of those home games so we could be on the big court. So she had to work 3 days. She had no help to clean up the floor after she was done. She had to put all the chairs up if we didn't put the chairs up for her. Mm-hmm. There was no help. And I wonder what is going on that there's no help unless someone else does it for her.
We mentioned this with the previous guest that when I was in high school, teachers, I even know coaches currently that said when they first started coaching, they were required to do extracurricular activities. We don't see that in teaching anymore. And I understand teachers right now have a major responsibility that 20 years ago probably they didn't have. But I'm seeing it, parents and teachers, the commitment level that it takes for the whole process. And, you're begging people to do tickets or concessions or whatever. It's across the board. I don't know how you change that either. There's no help.
It's just a vacuum. There's a hole there. I don't know what we're missing, but
maybe we're seeing a change with parents now getting involved with school board stuff. Maybe they can now see, wow, this is a little more difficult than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And maybe we can see more parent involvement. I mean, it's definitely a lack thereof, or has been.
Yeah, it's definitely worth encouraging. The misconception is out there that the schools don't want parents involved. That's the furthest from the truth. We want to see parents involved. We want you there. If the doors are open, you're welcome. Before, during, and after hours. I mean, we're there. And I wanted to touch base. A lot of people have this misconception that all the funding is going to pay coaches. Our coaches would laugh in your face if you would even think that they're doing it for the money. Coaches are there because they want to build those relationships with kids. They want to, bring out that teamwork and that leadership and camaraderie. It's definitely not about the money. Mm-hmm. And so, a lot of the funding simply goes to run the programs.
Yeah. No, and it's bare bones. I mean, you're right. It's they have to scrape and claw to get, every little thing they can get. And, for the most part, all the schools, all 3 schools, I mean, we have, all 3 schools are fairly, what I would say, top. Well, I mean, 2 of them are in the Seminole District. You don't get any more difficult than that.
Mm-hmm.
But Stanton River competed state in football just not too long ago.
Yeah. I mean, we've got great programs at
basketball.
all.
The women's basketball is fantastic.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. So,
shout out to Coach Kim Jones.
Yes,
fantastic.
Stanton River Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
And her boy Caleb put 19 on my son in 1 quarter.
Oh, wow. Logan actually blocked him to win the game. But we do appreciate you coming on the show. We'll have you back on in the future. But you can't leave without the difficult question of, if you could spend one day with anybody in history, who would it be and where would you go?
Anybody in history.
Anybody.
Well, I'm going to be personal about this, and I say this all the time. I would give anything to be able to sit on the front porch of my grandmother and grandfather's farmhouse back in Edgecombe County and have an adult conversation with them like I used to do when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I miss that too about my granddad, Granny Peyton. Yep.
Cool. Again, thanks for coming on the show.
That's awesome. Marcus.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys having me. And you guys know me well enough. I'll share whatever I can and, be glad to come back anytime. So
all right.
I really appreciate you guys having me.
Fantastic.
That segment was sponsored by C&S Business Services.
C&S Business Service is your local place to get professional services: payroll, bookkeeping, notary, QuickBooks, and consulting. Everything is done and catered to your needs. Set up a consult today and visit their new and approved website, at csbusinessservice.online or call 540-586-1120. Again, that number is 540-586-1120. It is nice to be greeted by those who know you by name. CNS Business Service will give you that kind of welcome to new and existing clients. Professional services done by professional staff, today, tomorrow, and together. CNS Business Services are located in front of the Bedford YMCA in Suite G.
All right, Trent.
Have at it. Thanks to Marcus for joining us. It was really, really cool. Oh man, I like this. Hey, one thing we forgot to mention, we got some big news coming up. Are you excited about 2,000 Mules?
I keep hearing about it, but to be honest with you, we'll have to wait for next week drama to talk about it.
Yeah, maybe we'll know a little bit more about it.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it. Yeah. What's the guy's name?
Dinesh
D'Souza. Yeah.
By the way, another person who they went after personally to imprison.
Oh, yeah.
I think people should know that. We do have that going on in America.
Yeah. For a campaign contribution, right?
Yeah.
It was like $1,500 or something. It was something absurd.
Yeah. Clinton Foundation's all I got to say.
Oh, yeah. Wonder how much they're making.
Watch how I keep talking.
Yeah.
Love you, Hillary.
You might be here I might be here by myself next week.
Change the cover art on the podcast.
My name's Trent Warner, by the way.
Let's hear let's hear from Joe Biden.
Mr. President, there's reports that you recently visited Johns Hopkins nursing home facility for your dementia. Is this true? And what was your reason for being there?
We went for two reasons. One, to
Hello?
Bring Osama bin Laden to the gates of hell.
Stop. Stop. What in the world?
That's our guy. So here's let's do some news you may not have known. So Did you know, and by the way, talk about things turning tides and why things would have mattered before. Did you know that Georgetown University has a group of students that are protesting the name Ronald Reagan Airport? That Ronald Reagan was not LGBTQ enough, whatever those initials are. And they are trying to get, and this is not a lie, trying to get the airport renamed to Jojo Siwa.
Jesus.
I don't even know what that means. But by the way, that's how things start. Like the Redskins can't be the Redskins.
Trust me.
You just start those little seeds.
Yeah. It's absolutely. No.
I'm hoping we are putting them in their little corner.
We give it teeth is why it ends up. We should ignore it.
We let it go and it becomes a snowball that you can't stop anymore.
Correct. What we should be doing, do you remember the Virginia candidate that ran for governor that year, ran for Senate against Mark Warner and damn near beat him because he ran on do not change the Redskin name. And oh God, what was his name? This was just recently. Oh, man.
I can't remember.
Gillespie.
Oh, yeah. Former governor.
And he had no prayer. And then all of a sudden, he grabbed that issue and ran with it in Northern Virginia. And that dude got a lot of support. But the NFL ends up getting their way because they blackmail the current owner. With all those shenanigans that were going on. Hey, you change your name and we won't throw you in jail for sexual harassment. So, as you were.
Some more news. In February of 2021, so that would have been last year, right? So Joe Biden, and they show him with his mask and his wearing all black and his head is down, and so is Kamala's, and they are honoring the 500,000 that died under Trump with COVID.
Are you serious?
That was last year, February last year. So now we're in May of this year. And guess what number we're at now? We're at 1 million deaths due to COVID. So if you think February of last year to this year, you've got another 500,000, right? How come that story is not as big as it would be, should be? But he's had a vaccine, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What in the world are we doing? So speaking of sexual harassment, what's that guy, Don Lemon at CNN?
Don Lemon.
Yep. He had a sexual harassment lawsuit dropped against him by a dude. CNN.
Man, those guys.
Yep. 65% of Hispanic voters support closing the border.
Yeah.
65%.
Here's what, again, the numbers don't add up. I watched the other day where it said that Hispanics now favor Republicans by double digits over Democrats. It said that minority blacks, I guess, what term do we call it? Blacks. That Democrats have lost 12% support among the African American community. Okay, where did the numbers go? Where did you follow what I'm saying? I mean, how do you win elections if they're all gone?
2,000 Mules tells you. It's fascinating. I love that math. That math actually works out. Somebody's doing the math, and it's fantastic.
Before you go on to your next point, I'm going to ruin your life here.
Oh, okay. It's many times you have.
Max Cut. Have you seen Max Cut? Have you seen? It's an older show, but have you seen House of Cards?
Oh, I used to love it. I watched the first season and a half, and then
it will ruin you when it comes to politics, because I swear to God, if it's not someone on the inside wrote that show, because everything is happening the way it happened.
Kevin Spacey was really good.
Yes, I mean, Defiance, Ohio. I mean, the stealing of the election that they had done. I mean, it's almost identical to what's going on now. Do you remember just before the election, they came up with a COVID, basically? I mean, I'm telling you, that show was dead on what's going on.
No, I kind of got out of it after it was so dark. It was like, man,
I'm telling you, the darkness that you're talking about is what we're talking about now.
Yeah, you're right. Speaking of a lighthearted moment.
Oh, good.
Kellogg's is making an LGBTQT box, a cereal box.
Didn't it already have a rooster on it?
This week, pronoun and gender friendly. And the last one, Nature Magazine has announced that they will only hire black interns. How do you make an announcement? I'm going to make an advertisement that I'm only going to hire black interns. What in the world has happened to us?
No,
that's as racist as it gets. Hey, I'm going to say at the business I create, I'm only going to hire white interns. And what in the world would happen?
What happened to the poster that hangs in every lunchroom at every business? The big bold print, you have your minority or your minimum wage, and then you have your race, gender, anti-discrimination. I mean, I guess they don't hang those, huh?
I mean, they boldly advertise it.
There's a commercial that aggravates me to no end. Every time I see it, I get so angry. Have you seen the two black scientist students? Oh, God, it's for Windows. And they say, we're scientists, we're engineers. And then they go on to say how they dance and they're trying to make this cool to bring in people into engineering and science. So I Google it. Okay, they're students at MIT. They didn't get into MIT because they were at the top of their class. They got into MIT because of this. It's a minority program that they're trying, MIT's trying, and you find they're not engineers and scientists, they're students.
Oh, speaking of which, did you see in the news that J.R. Smith, he's at North Carolina A&T, and he's a golfer, right? He left the NBA.
Oh, is it J.R. Smith? I remember.
You didn't know he's at North Carolina A&T?
No.
He's on the golf team. He got a $5 million NIL deal. So he is out of the NBA.
Oh, that J.R. Yeah.
He's out of the NBA. He's playing for North Carolina A&T. This is a freshman year.
How can he do that?
Because he played basketball. He was never a golfer. He's amateur. NCAA said he could play golf. So they gave him the Student Athlete of the Year. He's got a 4.0 GPA. Now, when you go to read the actual document, he only got the 4.0 in the first semester. It's a full school year. But so he's got the poster and the picture of the advertisement that he is the Student Athlete of the Year. So I went to look to see how well he's doing in golf. He's never made a tournament.
Oh,
you know how they have like 9 people and 6 people make a tournament. He's not good enough to make the games, but yet they advertised him as and he got $5 million NIL deal.
But didn't he go to college before he became a pro?
No, he went straight from high school.
Okay, well, that makes sense now.
Yeah, he went straight from high school.
Huh?
Yeah, he's a neat guy. I mean, it's kind of interesting.
Well, you made me just think of something. Congratulations, Millie. Millie Thompson. She is a pitcher at Clemson University softball.
Yeah,
she was ACC Player of the Week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
So that's a Liberty student and a JF student's been pitcher softball. The girl
ACC.
from JF was Limley. She was the freshman pitcher of the week.
Not to mention Dahl. I think it's how you say her name. She was out at Oregon. She was Brookville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's graduated now. She went to Tech and got kicked out. She ended up at Oregon, where she pitched in the College World Series.
Way to land on your feet.
No joke. Anyway, good show.
Shout out to Audrey. Audrey today took the PE.
Oh, good. Good job, Audrey.
Yeah.
I mean, can you fail the PE? I'm asking. I don't know anything.
Can you fail? It's an 8-hour exam. It's her second 8-hour exam. You have to take 2 to be able to be a licensed engineer. She passed the first one last year, and she takes the second one today.
Good. Congratulations.
Yep.
We'll skip business highlight. I will say this. There is a business coming to Bedford.
Bringing students to Liberty.
And I can't think of the name of it. It's like barrel and something. So it's going to be dinner, like steak, stuff like that, but also a cigar place.
Sounds good. Where's that going?
Where Fisher's was, restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Breaking news.
Oh.
You got to have a breaking news. Anyway, next week we're juggling right now.
Yeah, we're trying to move things around.
We've got guests.
Hi, Brian. Happy to be with you.
Hey, we're actually at a point now where we're actually trying to figure out
to move people around. Yeah.
This show is growing.
What would you say? We're top 175 now?
Yeah, in the charts.
Yeah.
We're in and out of the chart. It's crazy. It's
That's
great.
awesome.
Eat it, DW.
Oh, God. I'll never hear
It's so funny here. I can't put any sign over another sign because as soon as people walk in, they get offended. So I have to everything I do is like having 8 kids. I can't offend anybody.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy. We finished up volleyball with Reagan.
Oh, cool.
We played in the playoffs.
A lot of people loved that interview last week with Courtney.
Yeah. I watched, they played last week and it was fun watching the kids compete at the playoff level. You could even see the intensity at the playoff level. Mm-hmm. They ended up losing 2-1 or whatever. But they battled against a really good team. But anyway, I think Reagan had a really good experience with
That's
it.
Awesome.
And so now we move on to summer, I guess. We got Logan to be coming home this week.
They have sand volleyball now. It's taken over. I don't know if they do that smaller kids or not, but Riley, that's where I go now to go pick her up from beach volleyball.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, I guess we've got summer coming on. We've got Pitbull and Zach Brown.
Zach Brown!
Can't stop us now.
Guy that owns F1.
How you change the world. Let's ride.
No.
Get off with me.
See you next week.
Cruise slow motion, taste the sun.